Hi, Tom from bkmnutrition.com, and today I want to talk about a step-by-step approach that you can take to make sure that your metabolism doesn't slow down when you're on a diet and so stall your progress. Now, sometimes we hear a lot of people talking about their metabolism's broken, or they have metabolic shutdown, or their diet's not working anymore and they're not losing weight and they think their metabolism is broken, or something to do with that sort of topic. Something you hear a lot of, and there are people who want to sell you things to recharge your metabolism or to restoke your metabolism or fire metabolism up. So I want to go through a very simple approach you can take, which doesn't cost any money. It's very quick to do. You can do it once for about 30 seconds every day to be able to make sure this that the metabolic slowdown doesn't happen and you actually continue to make progress. So I called it a step-by-step approach, and it is a little bit of a play on words. And what I want you to do every single day is just to monitor your steps. Now, if you have a step counter, I have an Apple Watch here. If you monitor your steps every day, what it does, it's a measure of your activity. So we're not really counting steps, because you can increase steps just by moving your hand around or by jiggling your arm or something like that. And sometimes your steps aren't representative of actual action. If you've been pushing a trolley, for example, it might not measure your steps. But what we're looking at is we're looking at the overall activity on average over a course of a week. Now, you might have seen in a previous video where I talked about measuring your weight on average and not thinking about one daily thing with weight. It's the same with steps, because we are more or less active through the week. Some days we are more active, some days we're less active. But what we're really looking at is a measure of our average activity over the week. Because what happens when we're in a calorie deficit or we're on a diet, the body will start to lose weight quite quickly in the first couple of weeks, and then it starts to recognize, well, hold on, we're losing a bit of body weight here. If we start to lose body fat as well, it might be thinking that the body fat is going down at too high a rate. So what it does, actually starts to make you a little bit more lazy, starts to make you a little bit less active. And what it's trying to do is trying to slow down your exercise, slow down your activity. And you might have felt this if you've been on a diet and you've sat on the sofa and just not wanted to get up. Even if it's really important, like you want to go to the toilet, you might leave it to the last possible minute to go because you literally can't be bothered to get up. It is a thing, it is something that happens a lot, and we've all felt it. And the body tries to make us more lethargic. Now, what you need to understand is in the body systems, there's a couple of ways that your body burns energy. You have your resting metabolic rate, which is your the amount of calories you burn just staying alive. So that's breathing, thinking, digesting your food, the heart pumping blood around your body, those sorts of things, the essential actions that the body takes to keep you alive. Then we have something called TEF, which is the thermic effect of food. So that is the energy that you use to digest your food and get energy out. So if you eat 100 calories of food, you have to use around about 10 calories to get the energy out. So you're left with a net of 90 calories. So the TEF would be 10 calories or 10%. So there's a certain amount of thermic effects of food, TEF, which will be used. So those things you can't really change in the body there. Of course, yeah, you could eat less food, of course, less calories, but TEF is a very small thing. Your resting metabolic rate is going to be one of the largest things, the largest energy burns in the body. Then you have what's called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that is basically the energy that you burn not exercising. So while I'm sat here moving my arms around, that's NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. If I walk to the shops and back, maybe you could call it exercise, but if it's a quite a relaxed walk, it's probably just activity. Stuff I do moving around the day, that's walking to the shops, walking around my gym, those sorts of things. Those things are non-exercise, it's just movement. So that's what's called NEAT. And then you have on top, the last thing is exercise activity thermogenesis, which you might have guessed is going into the gym or going for a run or climbing a mountain or whatever you do for your exercise. So that's exercise activity thermogenesis. So the body can't really do anything about your TEF, and it can't really do anything about your resting metabolic rate, because those are things that keep you alive. So what it tends to do is go for the low-hanging fruit, which would be non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that is what is making you more lazy. It tries to cut down your activity in the day and tries to reduce how much you're moving about. It will also probably make your exercise in the gym a lot harder. So you might feel a bit more demotivated in the gym or a little bit more tired when you go into the gym. So it plays on both of those things. But NEAT is one of the biggest energy consumptions in the body for most people. So it goes after that. And this is a bit of a roundabout way we're coming back to it. But when I say if you monitor your steps, that is a measure of how much you're moving about in the day. Now, it's not an exact measure, of course, but you can't say, oh, one step is this many calories. But what you can measure is if you are on a diet and you're doing a normal daily activity, if you monitor your steps every day, so every day we just write it down into a little graph or something, a little PDF, and you monitor it every day and look at the average, you'll be able to see over the course of your diet each week what your average steps per day was or your total steps for the week were. And if you work that out, you should be able to see where your activity starts to slow down, and that should be in relation to where you start to feel a bit more tired, a bit more lethargic, maybe craving food a bit more. Now, what the idea is as the steps start to go down, as the activity starts to go down, the body is trying to redress that calories in, calories out equation that you're trying to make a deficit. So when we're here at maintenance, you take away food, and so you create a calorie deficit. And so what the body tries to do, it tries to reduce the calories out, which is the NEAT activity or energy in the gym, to try and bring it in line. So even though on paper you've calculated a calorie deficit, which is here, the body then fights back by saying, well, I'm going to reduce our activity, so we're going to bring it here. And this is where the plateau happens, where you stop losing weight, stop losing body fat, because now the body's brought it back into line. So what you calculated as a calorie deficit is now calorie maintenance. So what we can do from here, of course, we can drop food a bit more, but that's not really what we want to be doing. We want to be eating less food because you're in a zero-sum game there. You've got to eat some food in the day, and if you keep going down, you're going to end up starving yourself. So what we do instead, if we can monitor our steps, so if we were here, say 10,000 steps a day, and now we're here 8,000 steps a day, a very easy way to do it would be to make sure you're pushing yourself back up to 10,000 steps a day, making sure you have a conscious control over your activity so that you are hitting the level of activity that's needed to still create that calorie deficit. So that is why it's a step-by-step approach. Sorry for the dad joke stroke pun there, but it's a very easy way of preventing metabolic slowdown, metabolic shutdown, whatever you want to call it. It's not really your metabolism slowing down or breaking. It's just your metabolism doing what it's supposed to do and stop you wasting away to nothing. But obviously we want to burn body fat. There's a certain level of body fat we can get to which is healthy. The body's just trying to prevent that. So we monitor our steps, make sure they go back up, and if we do it that way, we do it nice and healthily, go for a brisk walk each night, go for a 20-minute walk every day as a good habit builder. You'll end up hopefully in a position where your NEAT activity goes back up and you're still in a nice calorie deficit. So that's the step-by-step approach. Very easy to do, doesn't cost you any money. All you need is a step counter. You can get them from Amazon for about, I think 13 quid, something like that. I'll put a link in the comments if you want to get the one I recommend to clients. And just monitor your steps every day. Very easy to do, doesn't cost you any money, and it's very quick. So if you enjoyed this video, thanks for watching. Click subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you on the next video.